Well, let's see.
And action.
I don't see it on the YouTube. Am I live?
You are live.
Oh. Okay, if there's anybody here who has been waiting, can you message me in the chat and say, hey, you are live? Oh! Hi, hi. Hi, hi, hi. 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 Thanks for being here. Okay, hello everybody who is here in the chat at the moment or who is watching in the wings, silently creeping like Batman in the dark corners of Gotham City, watching the ordinary people as we do a live stream. You are also welcome. Yeah, kind of as I said in my description, this is kind of a get to know me little live stream. This is just the beginning. Maybe some of you have been following me on YouTube or Instagram, or you found me via Twitter or even the Discord for SF6 and Fatal Fury. Who knows where you found me? But this is the very first live stream that I'm having on my YouTube channel, and so you've been probably watching a steady progression of creating things and communicating with people and making content and just being a little bit more out in the world. So we figured this would be a good time to say hello, get to know me, share a couple of facts, and answer some of your questions so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. First off, I'm just going to take a look a little bit on some of the comments that you have left while you were so patiently waiting for me. We have a hi. Is anyone here? So it's the beginning. Do you play SF6 or City of the Wolves? Yeah, actually, so I do play. Oh, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, I am the voice of Mai Shiranui in Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, and Street Fighter 6. That's kind of how a lot of this began. Yeah, and so after I booked the voice roles, that's when I kind of figured, you know what, I should probably play a little bit more of this game. And we got ourselves a little Xbox, and then I just have been playing a little bit. I would like to be better as Mai. I'm working on it. Yeah, so we'll see. But it's been pretty fun so far. I was talking to somebody at a con recently, and he was like, so do you play any fighting games? And I was like, oh yeah, I play Smash. And he kind of was like, ugh. And I was like, I do a little Final Fantasy. And he was like, ugh. Like, he didn't like anything that I played. And I was like, oh, okay. So I get it. Everyone has their favorites. Everyone has what they're very good at. But I will say that I do really like Smash, and I'm hoping that Mai will get there one day. Especially with your new outfit. Come on, guys. Okay, hopefully that answered the question. Yeah, I like to hear people in there chit-chatting about it. Hi, 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 I'm live. Hi, hi, hi. You look nice today. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I'm doing like a 70s feathered bangs look, you know? People letting me know that I'm live. I appreciate that. I have Xbox too. How did you get into your career path? How did you get into your career path? That is such a long story, and I'm not going to bore everybody with that today. But I can give you a couple of, you know, little stories along the way, kind of how that happened. I do have one longer video on my channel that is sharing more of the long form. Well, actually, yeah. So you can see a little bit of my story there. But long story short, I got started in South Korea. That's how it began for me. And I was living a little bit outside of the main city, Seoul. I lived in Suwon. It was called Suwon. And I went to an audition there, and that's kind of what first sparked in my mind, like, whoa, this is a career. Like, this could actually be something that I do. I had that audition, and that's kind of where the bug was bit. And do you get bit by the bug? Or are they talking about like a flu bug? You catch the bug. Did you catch the bug, or did you get bit by the bug? Anyway, the bug was there. And that's when I kind of started thinking about it. Oh, this is possible. So when I moved up to Seoul and I started working in radio and I was doing live shows, which kind of got me on my feet. And then kind of word of mouth, that's how I ended up doing little jobs here and there, and it slowly grew. And so thanks to that, I was able to build a really good portfolio in South Korea. So when I decided to come to New York, which is currently where I'm at, New York area, I was able to submit my resume to agents, which then has, you know, started the ball rolling a little faster. And that's where I landed the role of Mai Shiranui. So That's a really long story short, condensed version. Condensed. Have you played any of the classic games? You know what? I have played on some arcades. I think like if I went to any arcades just for kicks, I'm sure I have, but I was never a really avid player. You once mentioned that you had a K-pop friend. Oh, I wish I could tell you, but I cannot. But I will say I have had my run-ins with plenty of K-pop people, people in the industry, in music, in Korea, the model world. Seoul Fashion Week just finished, and I had a lot of interactions with Seoul Fashion Week. You know, some of these crazy stories that I share on my socials especially, yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So keep following me and hopefully you'll hear some more fun things. Let's see. Hi, Scrambled Eggs. It is always nice to see you. Faye, who voices Aki. Yes, that's true. Actually, we've never met in person. I would love to one day. You know what? Aki is like such a creepy character, right? It gives me the heebie-jeebies, but so excellent. Oh, okay. I like that some people know each other. Can I get a good night, please, Beast? Good night, good night, good night. Have you watched K-pop Demon Hunters? Yes, Brian, I have. And a little fun fact about that one, I did audition for the role of Rumi. Actually, this was some time ago. And so I remember at the time being like, oh, what is this? K-pop Demon Hunters, right? This sounds a little, it could be cheesy or whatever. But you know what? You just do the audition. You do the best that you could. And then later on when it came out, then I was like, what? Mind blown. So I actually watched K-pop Demon Hunters before it was released because I also narrated the audio description. So if you go on Netflix, you can click on audio description, which it's basically, it's kind of like narrating a movie or a show for people with low vision or need a little extra help understanding the flow of the story. And so that's my voice narrating for K-pop Demon Hunters. So I got to watch it in the studio while I was recording the narration at the same time. Yeah, so that was pretty exciting. Let's see. Oh, actually, did you audition? Yes, I did. Will you do the video of doing my lines in SK games and crossover games? You know, a lot of people have suggested that. I think about it. If you have some favorite lines, you can drop them here. And yeah, I'll see what we can do. I did release that one short, that one video where I was just doing a couple lines from Street Fighter 6. And I think I'll do something with Fatal Fury. And whether we'll recreate some of her lines from previous things, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. If you can give me suggestions. We need Rebecca in the sequel. That would be amazing. If you know who's casting for K-pop Demon Hunters, just casually drop my name. That would be great. Yeah, I don't know how the auditions are going to happen for that. I do think, I'm sure to a degree, some of the roles, it's like they have somebody in mind, and sometimes that's how the roles go. That's, you know, they know you, casting chose you, or the role was created for you in some of these cases. But given the chance, let's see. Can you tell us your favorite book? This question was asked 21 times, so I will answer only once though. Can you tell us your favorite book? My favorite book? I like a lot of books. I think, I'm trying to think, like, what am I, well, okay, it's a little embarrassing, but I am currently reading, it's called Summer Storms, and I didn't know the book beforehand. My sister gifted me this, like, 3-month book of the month thing where you can choose a book off their list, and so I picked it because I was like, ooh, intrigue, sounds fun, but it turns out to be one of those modern romance, like contemporary romance that get really spicy, and I didn't know that until I was reading it on the plane flying to, where was I flying to? North Carolina, I think at the time, and so it was very much like a case of reading it and then just being like, looking around, make sure nobody can read what I'm reading. I haven't finished it yet. That did not answer your question, what is my favorite book? Let me come back to you on that. Maybe I'll talk about it more some other time, but I don't know if I don't think there's exactly one off the top of my head, but I am an avid reader, so I always love book suggestions. Where do you live? Why are you asking? Just kidding. I live in New York area at the time. And have you read ebooks? Yeah, of course. Ebooks, yeah. The last ebook I was reading was the Thursday Murder Club. I know Netflix just made a video or a movie off of that, Thursday Murder Club, which was really charming, and Helen Mirren, wow, stunner forever. But the book was fun, I have to say. Anybody who has any choice between watching something or reading something, I'm always 100% down for reading it. If you're gonna watch it, appreciate, but you need to know the canon first. Are you interested in voicing any other games? Of course. Yes, I would love to. And I do have the opportunity to do a lot of auditions. I've been auditioning for a lot of cool stuff. And that's why they always say, like, the people who are in this industry, you got to be really tenacious, because you could be one step away from landing something that could change your life. And it really comes down to timing, luck, and hard work. So you got to keep going at it, and we'll see. We'll see what comes next. Have you read books? I have. Actually, I've even read more than one. Did you ever do motion capture for games? No, I haven't yet, but that's all I'll say for it right now. Hopefully, something soon. Have you heard of Dragon Ball? Of course. Kamehameha. You know what? I don't know if I can do that off the top of my head. I did recently attend a con, though, with a voice actor from Dragon Ball Z, which was really cool. I think I heard her doing a few. How did you get into acting? Well, Mikey, I did mention this a little bit earlier, and I do have the video on my channel a little longer form, but it started in South Korea. And let's see, have you met any of the other Street Fighter or Fatal Fury actors? Yes, I have. I recently came from a con in Michigan, which was really exciting, Azoku Con. They did a great job for their first con. It was really fun. And they had me, they had Griffin Puatu, who voices Rock Howard, and they had Michael Schneider, who voices Terry. So there were some of us here. Oh, and we also had Hokutomaru's voice, Caleb, and there was one other, I don't know if I could say right now. I gotta look into that. But yes, there were a couple of people. Wow, we have a lot of readers here. I really like that. Do you prefer paperback or hardcover? It just depends, right? Hardcover has a nice look, and sometimes I do love to see the beautiful artwork on covers. I think it makes good for a collection and how it looks in your library, but it's always time for a paperback when you're on the go, when you're traveling, when you gotta slip it out of your bag. You can't go wrong either way. Are you fluent in Korean? I would say yes. I am not a native speaker, but my mom is Korean, so I grew up hearing a lot of it, and I lived in South Korea for a very long time. So yeah, I would say fluency in the terms of I can hold a conversation and work and act in Korean. What is your dream voice role from games, anime, animation? I've been thinking a lot about this. This is Dual Shock 258. I have been thinking a lot about that. So many great roles out there, right? I don't know what would be my dream role off the top of my head. I would like something that has something kind of goofy, right? I think people who get to voice characters with a lot of range of emotions, crazy moments, silly moments, insane moments, also really sad moments. I really like that when you have this like emotional range to play with, as opposed to very structured, like this is exactly what's happening at this moment. I think it's fun when you get to play with the character a little bit, and your own quirks change the character's personality. It makes it a little bit unique. So I don't know yet right now. I'm sure there are plenty of characters out there like that, but maybe hopefully something in K-pop Demon Hunters too, right? I really enjoyed Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I'm glad they've included Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. Mai will forever be my queen. Thank you so much. I so appreciate the kind words. I really loved seeing the way people have embraced Mai in Street Fighter 6 and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. You know that there was so much buildup, right? Like people had this expectation, and we don't always have our expectations met when they're this high, but I really appreciate people saying how much they like her. And it's nice to be a part of that. Ooh, the promotional art with SNK characters is phenomenal to see as well. Yeah, there is a lot of amazing fan art out there. Yeah, actually, I might have a Streamly event at some point. I was able to commission some work with some artists and also get some rights to some fan art out there for and so there's a lot of really good stuff. So if something goes out like that, hopefully we will open that event soon. Did you ad-lib anything from that made it into the games? Did I ad-lib anything? So there's a lot of things with, especially with this kind of video game, there's tight timing, right? You have to match the exact amount of time. You have 14 seconds to fit in this line, and it has to go tick, 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 according to the timing. So it doesn't always leave a lot of room for ad-libbing and flexibility. I'm sure there was a bit like with the director, sometimes you would say something and be like, okay, that doesn't sound natural to her, or this is how I would actually say it, or why don't we emphasize at this point instead of this point? In that case, there may have been a little bit of change and flexibility, but for the most part, it's pretty much set. Like, they know exactly what they want, and it has to correspond with the Japanese voice acting as well, with timing-wise too. So instead of, I think, improving words or phrases or lines, it's more like you can sometimes choose what to emphasize, because obviously Japanese nuance and emphasis sounds different than in English. So you get to play around a little bit with that. Hey, the friendly neighborhood Gabe has joined. How's your day going? Hey Gabe, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. We're just hanging out, answering some questions. You guys have a lot of great questions, and I feel like I'm talking like a mile a minute. So it's helpful having questions. Help me slow down a little. Did you ever meet the current Japanese voice actors? No, I have not. You know, I wonder if she's aware of me as well as I am aware of her. It would be really cool for us to meet in person, wouldn't it? This is the thing. This is what I've learned, especially for voice acting. A lot of the power of getting voice actors to certain events or to cons or to be able to do promotional things, a lot of that is in the power of the fans, right? So if there's somebody, if you guys are fans of a certain character and you really want her to come to a con that you will be attending, or you just think like, wow, it would be so great to have the whole cast of Street Fighter 6 here. That's in your hands. Like, you can make those suggestions and contact to cons, and then cons will be like, whoa, they would be really popular here. They should go. So this is why I always like to tell people, hey, oh, I wish you could come here. I wish you could meet this person, or, you know, get to Evo. I always say the power is in your hands, and you can absolutely do that. I'm always on my end trying to go out and meet every single my fan in the world. But the power is really in your hands to be able to let these cons know, or people who are handling all these promotional things, like, oh, this person would be great to come. So maybe in the future, long-winded way to say, maybe she and I would meet one day. Fingers crossed, right? I like your pumping content without getting burned out. It's very inspiring. Oh, thanks, Lefty Art. Yeah. You know, when it comes to like the content creation thing, I've always found that a lot of work makes work, right? So when you're actually doing the work, it helps you do the work. This is kind of similar to when you're feeling down and sad, you laugh, and by laughing, you end up really laughing, which then changes your mood to be better. And so the same thing I think can be done with creativity and with work. I don't think inspiration always just strikes. Sometimes it does, but I don't think it's just like, bing, oh, I got this idea. It's kind of like you're working on an idea. You're writing, this is me writing. You're writing. And then that's when the inspiration comes through the work. And that's actually why creating good content or interesting work or, you know, comedy or writing is such hard work, because you're really exercising your brain in the moment while you're doing it. So pumping out content, yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. I am pumping. By the way, if you guys have not subscribed to my channel and this is your first time coming across me, I hope that you'll just follow so that you know we'll be doing more of these live streams. And like this live stream too, so that more people can see it and get involved. All right, let's take another look at some of our questions here. You're gorgeous. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. My director here, he set up this beautiful light, and we're using a lovely camera. So, yes, he makes me look the best I can look. How would you compare yourself to each of the main heroines from K-pop Demon Hunters? How would I compare myself? It's funny because I always thought like, oh, I'm more of a Rumi type, right? But I get so many people who say I'm like Mira. I don't know what it is about me and Mira because I always thought she was so intense. But maybe we are. Maybe we are. Nice manicure. You did them yourselves? That's a good question, Gabe. And interesting that you noticed that. I also think it looks pretty good. This has been a little while. I am also a parts model. I do a lot of modeling. And so I'll model like handbags and jewelry and all of that stuff, and your hands are supposed to be in top condition. So actually, when I go to set, oftentimes they have a manicurist there and they will handle it for me. So a manicurist recently did this one for me, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I think, and it's lasted really well. Do you guys take care of your nails? Hey, I think everybody should. Everybody should have care for their hair and nails and skin and body and health. That's important. Let's see, most scary movie you have ever watched. All right. When I was 16, and I never watched any horror stuff, ever. A group of my friends and I got together and it was like midnight and we were like, we are gonna watch The Grudge. And we watched it. And I was horrified for the rest of my life. I think it's like been burned in my brain. It was so scary. It was the scariest thing I've ever seen. And I'm sure today it would still be really, really scary. And I still think about it. And I recently went back and read the script of The Grudge because I was like, you know what? It can't have been that scary. I think I need to just read it, like read the actual script of it so that I can get rid of whatever my mind is telling me was so scary. And it was so scary. I read it and it was scary. So maybe that was the scariest thing. Though, after that, I would have to say Parasite, Gisaengchung, you know, the Korean film Parasite. Ooh, it's so scary. Sometimes when I'm in the stairwell of a building and it's like tight and you're going up the stairs and then you can't open the door onto the floor you're trying to get on, I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, what if I get stuck here? What if I live in this stairwell forever? What if I'm in this tiny room? What if nobody knows I'm down here? And that's how it progresses. So I know Parasite has definitely gotten under my skin. Let's see. Hi, we have Alari in the house. Have you met Amber Lee Connors, the voice of Janet? No, I have not. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of times the voice actors, we run into each other at the con, on the con circuit. That typically seems to happen, or you get booked on something together. But even when you get booked on something together with other voice actors, you're not always gonna see each other. Because you're maybe recording in your own studio or you're recording at a different time and date. So, you know, surprisingly, a lot of the cast don't know each other in person because we didn't get to do the work together in person. So hopefully by going out to more cons and just doing more of this work, there will be a chance that we'll run into each other. Fingers crossed. You mentioned Batman earlier. Have you watched any of the DCU shows or movies? Have I? I have watched, let's see, what Batmans have I watched? Of course, I watched the newer ones, Heath Ledger, all of that. And I watched the one with Jim Carrey was.
That's Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
You watched the Michael Keaton ones.
Oh yeah, Michael Keaton.
Batman Returns.
Tim Burton movies. Tim Burton, right? I've seen all those. But I have not seen any of the animated series. I have auditioned, though, for a couple things. Jump scares are definitely scarier than other aspects of horror. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like jump scares, after a while, you're kind of like, okay, and you can't be scared anymore. But it's when it gets in your brain and you're thinking about it night and day and you're laying in bed and you're like, oh my gosh, then that's truly psychological. Besides for Lee Byung-hun, have you met any of the cast from Squid Game? Yes, I have. Oh my gosh, it's been such a while. What was her name? We used to model together. in Korea? Let me see. Squid Game. Well, I have run into Lee Jung-jae. We ran into each other at a party after Seoul Fashion Week. Anupam, I know Anupam. I'm good friends with one of his good friends, and he has come to a couple shows that I helped work at in Seoul. He was really big on the theater circuit there. So we have. And then Jung Hoyan and I, we actually were at the same, we did some modeling stuff in the same circuit. So I've run into her, and I think that may be it for the time being. You know, there's a couple people that I'll be like 1 degree away from, but for the most part, yeah. Fun thing about Top, one of my friends who's a model, she used to be good friends with him, and I remember she was always like, oh, you should come hang out with us. We're gonna have dinner together. We're gonna have drinks together. Come out, come hang with us. But I always was like, I'm busy. So I missed that opportunity. Would you ever want to work on a Star Wars show or film? Yeah, I would love that. That would be so cool. So I didn't watch any Star Wars until after college, I think. Yeah, so I never, my dad loved Star Wars and Star Trek. My dad's a big space guy. So I was always aware of things, but I didn't actually get into it until much later. But Star Wars, I mean, to exist in the Star Wars universe would be so cool. Fingers crossed. Harley Quinn, Peacemaker, Superman. No, none of those. I don't think Harley Quinn, I don't think they'd be casting for Harley Quinn anyway. But who knows? Met any my cosplayers. I've seen some on socials. I haven't yet met in personal life, though there is one photographer I know. He may be coming up to New York, and he did ask if I wanted to do a shoot with another girl who does my cosplay. So who knows? We'll see. What's your favorite thing about voicing Mai? Hey, Spike. My favorite thing about voicing Mai, I think it's knowing that the character now exists. The fact that I did it, I think, is one of the things that I love now, because it's kind of like, whoa, you can look at your work and you can see how the kind of repercussions have come from that, and just be a little proud of that. I think it's really great when you feel like you've done hard work, you've done good work, and then you look back at it and you're like, yeah, that was good. So that's something I think I appreciate now. What did I love while voicing her? It was just so much fun. I loved being able to work with a crew, a team, and production and directors who knew exactly what their vision was, and to be a part of that, and also to bring myself to the table. That was pretty cool. It's really nice when you do a collaborative effort with people who are talented, hardworking, and have a vision. That is always fun. Let's see. I really recommend Peacemaker or Creature Commandos. I heard you were a DJ. You got to share your Spotify playlist. You know what? I would love to. I love sharing music. I'm a huge music fan. I love discovering new artists, and I love going back and learning new thing about just musicians and the study of music. That was one of my favorite classes I ever took, which was actually the history of music. And so very cursory class. I just did it for fun. And I loved learning about the different eras of music and what inspired this, and which music is the result of the zeitgeist, and which music is writing the zeitgeist, and which music causes the zeitgeist. I think it's so interesting. So you know what, I probably should. I have a lot of Spotify playlists, a lot of great stuff. I love to share. I do think it's really important for people to listen widely and deeply when it comes to music. Really experience all of the genres, experience all of the kinds of voices and sounds that exist out there. And you'll be amazed, I think, at also how your mind changes. If you ever want to be inspired, or you want to change your mood, or you want to try something new, turn on the kind of music that is going to create that inside you. Music is so important. Let's see. Have you watched Marvel films and shows? Yes, I have. I absolutely have. I think I've seen probably not everything, but I've seen a lot. Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of Marvel. Have I ever met Big Bang? No, I don't think I've ever met anybody from Big Bang. But I think they were my first K-pop concert I ever went to. Yeah, Big Bang. I got free tickets. One of my friends from college was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Big Bang?" And I was like, "Okay." So we went. I remember Big Bang was there, Kara. Who else? It was a really big show. And they had some of like the old school people. Yeah, but at the time I was like, "Oh, Big Bang, ha ha ha, whatever." And then G-Dragon came out. And honestly, he has so much charisma and he looked so cool. He wasn't even dancing. He just walked. He was just walking on the stage like, you know how he kind of like, and then T.O.P was just walking like this and he was wearing a suit. So much charisma. It was so cool. And that's where I changed my mind. I was like, okay, Big Bang's it. Let's see. Do you like to collect anything? I don't collect. I collect music. Hey, that's probably true, actually. Because I love just having all of this music, and I used to spend hours organizing every little thing to the right detail, exactly what I wanted, which album, the year it came out, what genre, who was the artists featured. I used to do all of that. And then I had that when I moved over to my next computer. I saved all of those files. Yeah, honestly, I probably collect music. Let's see. I do want to have a record set one day. I've got a really nice record player, and I have 2 albums at the moment. I have Ella Fitzgerald and Michael Jackson Bad. Those are my 2 records that are starting my record collection. Eventually, I will have a full one, and it's gonna be so cool, and I'm gonna have all the music ever. Can't wait to see you collaborate and network with other voice actors. Yes. Oh, Greg. Actually, I met Greg recently. You know what? Yeah, that would be quite cool. I think he's out in LA, though. Yeah, I'm sure if I ever go out to LA, though, we might reconnect. Hi, Raina. Hello. Hey, Axel, what's up? Hey there. Dual Shock. With the rise of indie animated shows like The Amazing Digital Circus, have you ever thought of trying out for indie animated shows? Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of that is tied to my agencies as well, right? If my agents are like connected or they think this is a good thing for me to try out for, I'm always open to all of those opportunities. And if you guys ever have things that you feel like, oh, you should try out for this, or it's an indie thing, or a casting director, of course, it's always good for me to connect, and you never know. Magic might happen. Roxjay, how do you feel about AI, especially in the voiceover space? I despise the rise of AI in certain places. I think especially in voice acting. But I think it really comes down to our question of why do we create art and why do we appreciate art? Like, what's the purpose of art? The purpose of art is not to generate as fast as you can, and it's also not to just shock people, and it's also not just to make money. The purpose of art is to express and communicate and connect on about the human experience and all of its incredible and mysterious variety. So if that's the case, to create art and to fully appreciate art and to feel art, you need to have that human connection. And AI is devoid of that. So while AI can absolutely be, because AI is a very widely describing thing, and we're using AI in many aspects of our life. But when it comes to true voice acting or music or the creation of art in all its formats, relying on AI or using AI as the artist or as the artist's singular tool takes away from the meaning of art. That's my thinking. And I also suspect people are going to feel that. I don't think that AI is going to take over. I also don't think it's going to replace voice actors or creators or artists, true ones. I think it will separate the excellent from the mediocre, as new technology often does. but I don't think it can ever replace. Let's see. I just watched the video of you seeing Blackpink. Oh yeah, you know, I think people misunderstood what I was saying in that one. Of course I knew it was Blackpink. I just didn't know it until I was sitting right in front of them. Because everything was very like, okay, secret, here you go, in the car, okay, go wait there, and I was like, and I wasn't important. Blackpink is clearly the most important people there on set. And a lot of it is just how Korean productions are run. So I didn't know who I was going to be shooting with until I was seated on the couch and then they came into the room and then I was like, oh, I'm filming with Blackpink. But you're already on set. Like you have the mic, you're on set, you have the script, you have everyone, the director. There is no way you can react in a manner of like, oh my God. And besides, I don't think I ever would. They're nice girls. They were definitely cool to be able to work with and to sit across from each other. And it was quite an experience. Let's see. What's the difference between metal and rock? Oh God. The difference between metal and rock. How can I define this? Malfunction. Oh no, I think the live stream froze. Let me think about that. My favorite song, Where to Buy Records. You know, you can find music all over the place. I don't know exactly where I'm going to buy records yet. I like to find them on little shops here and there. Definitely New York has a lot of little corners. Hey, you want to see them? This is like my little collection. You better like it. This is Ella Fitzgerald. This is the Lost tapes, the Lost Berlin tapes. Isn't that cool? And then Michael Jackson. Bad. Oh my God, I love Michael. I just love it so much. I could talk a lot about Michael Jackson. I think he's so great. I just love him. Thanks. I thought you guys might like to see that. Do you know the first rule of Fight Club? Yeah, don't talk about Fight Club. Would you get some My Shiranui merchandise? Yes, I would. And the last con that I was at, a couple artists gave me some things that they had created, like a little sticker and a keychain and a bag. It was really, really cute. So I do love to have my Shiranui things to be able to show. Hey, look at all this. Do you read? Yeah, Reina. I'm reading your comment right now. I feel you on that. Say, Ms. Rebecca, you did a great job for Mai's English voice. But can you do more Mai and redub? Oh, you know, people have asked me that. I don't know. I could. Like, I mean, not on the official level, but maybe for like a video or something. What comic book characters would you want to voice? Do you know what? I've always really loved Wonder Woman. I think she's so cool. I think I would love to voice Wonder Woman. That'd be awesome. Cool. Oh my gosh, sick. Haha. Do you have a tattoo? No, I don't. Though I did meet a great tattooist, a tattoo artist recently, and we were talking about like getting like a little flame or maybe Mai's fan or something. Right, it's kind of momentous. It's just like, this is something that will stay with me forever, right? I think that's the thing with tattoos in me. I'm always like, do I really want to keep it on me? Something permanent has to have that much meaning. But I think maybe something Mai would be cool. I wouldn't mind doing that. Do you read novels? Yeah, of course. I do. I love reading everything. I think reading fiction is really valuable. I did a little video on that recently talking about the value of reading fiction. I think that reading fiction and fantasy and just everything, but especially that transports you out of your current world and puts you in certain situations or experiences or meeting people that you would never meet ever, really stretches your imagination and helps you to grow in terms of empathy or understanding or just make you think a little bit outside the box. So I think it's really important to read novels. Can you do a video of voice impressions of her? Maybe. We'll see. That is a fun idea. Oh, you know, if you guys have any ideas of things that you would want me to do on the channel or maybe talk about or try, you guys can absolutely leave me some requests. Yeah, like what kind of content would you like to see on the Rebecca Rose channel? I'm definitely pushing out a lot of it on socials, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere. Just something that might interest you or something that you would like to see more of. I am more than happy to give it a go and to try out a couple things, see what we can do. Okay, I wonder if I even gave information about myself. I feel like I was answering a lot of questions. Let me think. What are some interesting facts about me? Is there anything interesting? I'm a righty. I'm right-handed. I wish I was ambidextrous. I can do the very basics of juggling. That's an interesting fact. I used to do gymnastics when I was younger, and then I got really tall, and my coach was like, I think you're too tall to be more professional than this. And so I stopped doing gymnastics. But thankfully, it's left me flexible. So that's an interesting fact. Another interesting fact would be once I was a dancer in a play, and in the middle of the show, when we were having a good dance scene, my partner dropped me right on my head on the middle of the stage, and everyone kept dancing around me, and I had to jump up, but the whole audience saw, and there was a collective like, oh, and I still remember that. So that's a good fact. And let's see. I performed as Cinderella in Into the Woods. That was a character that I played. I am a soprano. I sing soprano. And I love animals, but I hate spiders. I hate spiders with all my heart. So don't ever bring them up again. Let's see what else. Is there anything else? I love to swim. I love oceans. If you had to pick between mountains and beaches, I would choose the beach. And yeah, I probably should have listed out a couple things. Do you guys have any more questions? Sounds like you didn't get a concussion. You never know, Brian. You never know. I didn't though, thankfully. Okay, I have one last question. I did post this on Twitter before, asking about animes, if you have any animes that you recommend that I watch. I am an anime newbie. Of course, I've appreciated Sailor Moon and Pokemon and a few others, but if there's anything you feel like, oh, you should get started with something, please let me know and I'll make note of that. And actually, no, I love Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man, okay, that is kind of weird because I hate spiders, but I think Spider-Man's superhero, like his powers are so great. And I also love how fast and quick he is. I like that. I like the quickness being specific and effective over just brute strength. So I think Spider-Man's pretty great. Is going to be announced very soon with official English dub, but I would love to see your Mai's voice again. Yeah, fingers crossed. And I know Mai also hates spiders. See what I mean? This is how we're so like in sync. Demon Slayer, yeah, definitely that's on my list. That is something that I will watch. Can you beatbox? Yeah. Yes, I can. Excuse me. And Attack on Titan. Yes, I will also watch that. I'll watch Attack on Titan. Did you ever watch the live action Sailor Moon or the recent stage singing Sailor Moon? No, I didn't, but I would love to. I love Sailor Moon. Who's your favorite singer? Oh, we have a new person asking a question. I have many singers that I love, but I really appreciate Michael Jackson. I do think that he is just the peak, honestly. Oh gosh, my favorite singers. There's so many people. You know, someone had mentioned before sharing my Spotify playlists. I think I'll do that. Naruto, yes, I definitely think I'll watch Naruto. Have you ever considered doing cosplay videos for this channel? I don't think I would ever do cosplay totally, but I would do maybe some cosplay photo shoots that I might share. Iron Cross recently, mainly wall climbing. Okay, do you keep up with gymnastics or other physical stuff? I have tried wall climbing a little bit. My sister is a really good climber. And as for keeping up with gymnastics, Yeah, let me show you guys now. Just kidding. I am flexible though, and I just like to do things here and there, work out a little bit. I love dance. I will become a great dancer one day in the future. How long have you been doing voice acting? It's probably been over 10 years now. I've been doing a lot of stuff. My career started back in South Korea, and at the time, a lot of it was like commercial work. Have you watched Sailor Moon movies? Yeah. I love your acting videos. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you guys have any fun ideas or, characters that you'd like me to try, or just concepts, you guys can always send me DMs or leave me comments. Have you ever auditioned for any Mortal Kombat? No, I have not, but it would be cool. One Piece. I know, there's 1,000 episodes. There's so many episodes of One Piece. Can you imagine if I just did a One Piece reaction channel? I would spend 10 years just watching One Piece, and all I would do is talk about One Piece all the time, because that's all the time I would have for, because there's 1,000 episodes. Are you AI? Anna! Oh, Anna. AI. Do you work out for modeling purposes? I work out, yes, but also just because I really like it. Yeah, I think it's good to be fit. I think it's good to work out. Look. Come on. Tell me this doesn't look like someone who works out. Tell me that. I am a real person. Yes. Can you sing? Yes, I can sing. I don't know if I'll sing right now. Here. I do sing. She's not AI. She's my. Oh, that's true. The live action One Piece is pretty good. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. Do you recommend I start with live action? Or should I start with the original? I feel like I know what people will say. But I think the casting was pretty good. Do you like yoga? I do like yoga. I like it. I think it's really great for your body. And I think everybody should do yoga or Pilates to center your body and, balance. It's okay, Anna. It's okay. You're very attractive. I like your charisma. You should be an actress. Thanks. Yes, I am an actress, actually. Voice acting is just one aspect of my life. There's a lot of things that I do. And definitely acting is one of those things. I love opera. I do too. I also love opera. What is your favorite of Mai's 3 outfits? This is difficult. This is quite difficult. In Street Fighter 6, I would have to say I like first her original red look, and then second would be her leather look, and then third would be a little bit more of her casual, like with the red pants. My favorite female singer. Who's my favorite female singer? Do I have one?
Whitney. It's a good throwback.
I love Whitney.
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. Yep. I love Whitney. What's your favorite theater musical? Wow. So I haven't seen Hamilton, but I know the soundtrack from beginning to end. Hadestown, I watched Hadestown. I think I like the guy who played Hades. I think he had the best parts. My favorite musical. I watched Wicked back in LA years ago when I was traveling Broadway, and I think it was with the original, I think Kristen Chenoweth was in it, now that I think about it. That was completely mind-bending. I love Chicago. I think Chicago has some great music. And Harrisburg has some good music too. There is one kind of more obscure one called City of Angels. Very interesting 4-part harmonies going on in there with the chorus group. I've always enjoyed listening to them. And I can start with a live action. Okay, we'll see. Thank you, Choi Yeonjuni. Thank you. I'm never watching Sailor Moon movies a lot. I prefer Sailor Moon fighting games. Oh. I didn't know that there were Sailor Moon fighting games. I'm not surprised though. I love Sailor Moon. I know that the artist created the characters, like the Sailor Moon girls, because she wanted to create characters that, like girls that she would actually hang out with, her friends. I love them. Netflix doesn't divert too much. Okay, that's good to know. Can you do K-pop Demon Hunters? I don't know. Can I? It depends. What part of it? maybe, if I get the chance to be part of it. City of the Wolves Mai is the best Mai of all time. Your ranking, City of the Wolves outfit. Yeah, I have to say the City of the Wolves outfit has definitely warmed up to the masses. Outfit 3 and then classic outfit. Have I ever auditioned for Overwatch? Yes. Yes, I have. I believe I have. I do a lot of auditions. So, maybe. Can you do a Rumi impression? Oh. What is something that Rumi said? What is something Rumi said? I would sing the Golden song, but then I would sound like a mosquito. How long have you been a voice actress? It's been a while. Yeah, but I was doing a lot of commercial work before. Can you do Zoe? You know, I did a little video where I was actually not lip syncing, but actually doing the voices of the girls from K-pop, so you can definitely check that out. Your voice is really relaxing. My eyelids are getting heavy. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Making people fall asleep. I'd love for you to have a role in Overwatch. Me too, that would be pretty cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for all of these awesome questions. This has been fun. So if I did more live streams, do you think you guys would tune in? I hope so. Please let me know. Maybe we can make this a regular thing where we would kind of hang out. I think usually if I did a live stream, I would have a main topic at hand. This one is a little bit more meandering. This is more of like a, hey, get to know me and hello. And then in the future, if I have like a specific thing coming up or an event or a topic that I want to discuss or talk about, that would also be what I would be doing in my live streams. Do I have a cameo? No, I do not. I don't know if I would ever do a cameo. Maybe. And you slay. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Hope you do more in the future. Thank you. 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 Yes. Hopefully we'll do some more of this. If you guys are not following the channel yet, make sure that you do that so that you can keep up with what's going on and share it with your friends or anyone that you think might be interested, because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in the future. We're definitely going to be working on this, on some great things here. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. So I'm going to end it here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.